What's going on, everybody? In today's video, I'm going to go over two horror films, and that is Immaculate, starring Sydney Sweeney, and The Late Night with the Devil with David Duchovny. Um, I hope I'm pronouncing his last name right. I always mess up his name, so I apologize in advance. Um, the first film I'm going to go over is Immaculate. Just saw that film just a couple days ago, and um, that film is, like I said, starring Sydney Sweeney. I've never seen her in anything. I know that she's in Euphoria and she's in that romantic film. Um, uh, I'm forgetting, of course, while I'm filming, but same guy who was in Top Gun Maverick. Um, but I've never seen her in anything. And she was in Madam Web. But so this was my first time seeing her in a film or show, and I uh, was very surprised of how good of an actress she was. The backtrack. Immaculate is about a lady who goes into, becoming a nun, goes into a convent, and which is in Italy, because a priest finds her, has her come over there in Italy, and uh, there's a friend, there's a person who who's also a new nun, and she becomes friends with this individual, and this individual starts to notice some things that just don't seem right, and Sydney just starts to realize some things aren't going right as well, and that's all I'm gonna say, because um, these reviews will be spoiler free, at least as spoilers free as I can during this video, because I like to go in my movies blind, and obviously these are my thoughts and opinions of each of those movies. So so that's the end of the story. I'm not going to go into too much, but I wanted to go over just how damn amazing Sydney was in this movie. Holy cow. Going into it, I I kind of thought that the trailer was dumb. I'm going to be blunt. Especially since I didn't know who this lady was. I know that she was very attractive, but I knew nothing. I don't know anything. And there's a lot of these sub-genre horror movies of The Nun and just weird, dumb, not as good sub-genre horror nun movies. We all have seen them. And they just got the typical jump scares and kind of bad CGI. But this is different. I believe it's different. I was very surprised at how good this movie was. And I applaud the director for the way that he told the story. Obviously, how he was able to get every ounce of passion and um, just the emotions for Sydney to display on the screen, because wow, it was just phenomenal. I was not expecting that at all. And the ending, it's going to be very divisive. I'm sure that you guys who look at this video have probably checked other reviews for Immaculate, and Holy cow. I personally really like the ending. It is very good because it just goes out there. And I applaud that very much. So there's going to be people who do not like the ending, and rightfully so. But um, and because the ending may affect others differently. But wow, it was very good, and I this is some of the I think some of the best acting I've seen in a horror film since Toni Collette in her Hereditary, uh, Mia Goth and Pearl. I mean, I think it's one of the best acting in a modern horror film um, I've seen in a long time. So yeah, just it was unpredictable a little bit, and I liked the story. I liked the beginning of the film. Basically, kind of tells you what the hell kind of movie this is going to be, and it just goes for it again, which I truly applaud. There are some typical jump scares that some may not like, but I think that is it's a very good modern horror story. It's a very good subgenre nun horror film that isn't your typical movie within that subgenre, and I just loved it. Some of the and also some of the cinematography is very good in this film. Also, was not expecting that. Very surprised. Um, there is a lot of positives for this film. Some of the mixed to negatives was I could see people not liking the ending. For me, it was fine, but um, also, you know what? I'm really trying to think. I'm really trying to think of truly any negatives of this film for me, and I don't think so. I really think that people need to see this film in the theater. Um, this will be a uh, good theater experience. Mixed would be the jump scares, I think, just because there's not a lot, but there is some, and within horror movies, you do kind of expect some jump scares, and this one does a few. So I could see some people not liking some of the jump scares, or maybe think that it maybe goes a little bit too much. I didn't think so, but I can see that as a mix to negative um, for the film. I'm really trying to think. Um, Maybe one negative is mixed to negative is uh, without spoiling anything is maybe the reasoning for uh, for some of the events to happen towards the end of the film, and I could see that as people may not like it. I kind of was like, nah, I'll go with it. So I guess take that with what you will. I'm trying to keep the spoiler free, so I apologize. As you're probably like, Frank, what are you even talking about? But for people who have seen this movie, um, yeah, I didn't really care for the reasoning too much. I liked how it unfolded and how you're kind of guessing in some ways, but yeah, I don't know if it's a little anticlimactic, at least for that portion of the film, but I did like the ending. So Um, yeah. Anyway, so I will give a highly recommend to see um, Immaculate in the theater. I think it's a must own right away. Uh, Hopefully it gets a 4K, but if not, a Blu-ray. I don't care what it is. It's a must buy. It, it's a very good movie. Very surprised, especially within the horror nun sub genre. So uh, yeah, so that's the review for Immaculate. As for the late night with the devil, I just got back from seeing the movie. Uh, wow, I love. I I think that might be the best Shudder film I have seen. Without jumping too far ahead, I one I thought it was awesome hearing the Shudder sound, their theme song or sound, and just seeing Shudder on the big screen. I loved it, considering I'm a huge Shudder fan and I've been a long time subscriber to their streaming service. It was just wonderful to see. So that was fantastic. I any movie I think that I've seen David uh, uh, in has been he just captures the screen. In my opinion, he just captures the screen. Whether it's what is it, the Belkin project, the Dark Knight. Whoa, that was not planned, but yeah, the Dark Knight, the Boogeyman, with his appearance in that. I mean, Dune. He just captures the screen, and this by far is the best acting I have seen him do in any film. And that's saying something because the films that I've seen him in, he he is just a wonderful actor. And like I said, when he's on screen, he just captures the viewer's attention. And right from the get-go, I loved how um, charismatic. Oh my goodness! I'm see, man. Okay. I gotta back it up a little bit. I think I'm really excited to talk about this one, considering I just literally saw it about 20 minutes ago. Just got done with it. So the Late Night with the Devil is about a talk show host, Jack, um, who is on par, or sorry, who's almost rating wise as good as Johnny Carson. So he's like right below with the ratings, and he just can't get over the hump with taking over the viewer numbers and everything, and the way that the story unfolds. You get to truly know the the story of Jack, again, who's played by David, and he I and then and so this movie when it takes place is on Halloween, and he has these guests who do some what would be like tricks for the audience, to try to get some viewership, and just a couple stuff happens within this taping of the late night episode, and obviously, stuff hits the fan, and so within this footage, it's not only the episode of the late night episode, but also behind the scenes. Um, it's all combined into one for us, the viewers who are watching the movie. And I think it's just fantastic. I'm not going to go, of course, over any spoilers, but with that being said, as I mentioned earlier, I was kind of getting ahead of myself. The acting is phenomenal by David. The storytelling to get the viewers really in touch with Jack, the TV host, um, to really get to know the character and his story, his love life, his the reasoning to get that top spot for late night television, and basically what he will do to get that top spot. It's just fantastic. Um, as I mentioned earlier, I think this is the best Shudder film I have seen. Yeah, I maybe it's recent Regency bias. Who the hell knows, right? But I I am just thinking about this film. I thought that not only was the story very good, the storytelling was very good, the acting was phenomenal. I loved the style of the 70s theme, the way that the the aspect ratio was very good and very subtle. Um, I honestly didn't know or really pay attention to the shifting of the aspect ratio until later on in the film, but it shifts between the taping of the show, um, and then it shifts a little bit between the black and white behind the scenes of the taping of the episode, and then when it's the color also changes to I want to say a little bit more of the modern filming when it's um, uh, a throwback. So when there's when he's there's a flashback, um, and that illusion of parts of the film, I thought that was very powerful and subtle in some ways, because I, as a viewer, was very captivated with what the hell was going on in that movie. Um, I was very engaged um, from beginning of the end. Again, the beginning of the character, of the reason for him wanting to get this top spot, um, and the way that it was um, uh, the cinematography was just wonderful. The way that the actors were looking at the cameras, I thought was very effective. Um, what I really liked was that how there was different perspectives of what was going on during the taping of the show for the viewers, because there's always skeptics. You kind of cover that base. You got those who believe. You got that covered, and you got there's those like what the hell moments. You got those guys. I mean, it was just great. And the subtle audio design from what was happening on screen from the audience was great. I thought there was a phenomenal creepy chill factor on some of these moments of the film. I just thought it was fantastic. I um, I was very surprised. I knew that it was gonna be some great acting by David, but I was not expecting to really like the way that it was directed and the 70s vibe and things that just kind of shifted. It was it was really good, man. I was about to cuss. You know what? Fuck it. It was so damn good, man. It was so good. Um, what wasn't good, probably some mixed to negative, is some of the CGI looked meh. There was good prosthetics. So there was yeah, those were really good. Um, but there was just like a couple. I mean, I'm nitpicking, but there's a couple CGI scenes that look, but it's again so small. If I was to nitpick, that would be it. I can see people not liking the ending. Maybe for how long the ending was, at least for that third act, the last part. I, on the other hand, really like the ending. I just told my wife just upstairs. I thought the movies that I just saw back to back, Immaculate the other day, The Late Night with the Devil, just a few moments ago, as some of the best horror films that I have seen in a long time. And I think, just as Immaculate, I think Late Night with the Devil is a must own. Get that movie as fast as you can. I applaud Shudder, and for people who don't know, that it will be streaming on Shudder on, I want to say, April 19th. So I will definitely be rewatching that film right away. Seriously, on April 19th, I'm watching that film again. It is so good. I just really love how the acting just sucked me in. The storytelling just sucked me in. I was very surprised at that. Um, I I think 2024 is off to a damn good start for horror films. Much better than 2023. I thought overall 2023 was a down year, especially compared to the previous year, 2022. Just one film after another. Just, oh my God. 2022 was just one of the best years ever for horror films. Um, but this year so far, oh my goodness, man. I loved Immaculate, and I really loved Late Night with the Devil. Holy cow. So good. Uh, so, those are my reviews for the two films. Highly recommend seeing those films both in the theater, even though Late Night with the Devil is streaming here in a couple of weeks. See that movie in the theater. It's a must. So damn good. Oh my goodness. So, thank you guys for checking out the video. I really appreciate it. Also, just a couple, um, questions for you guys. What has been so far? What has been your favorite horror films that you've seen in the movie theater of 2024? Did you guys see Immaculate and The Late Night with the Devil? How did you guys like that film? And what horror films are you guys looking forward to to 2024, because pretty soon, I think next week actually, the first Omen comes out in the theater. So pretty excited to see that because the trailers look pretty good, and The Strangers as well. So anyway, guys, I could talk about horror films all damn day. I just love it. So thank you guys for checking out the video, and have a good one, guys.